everyone, to another episode of the Hall of Fame show with myself, Kirk, Buchner, and Evan Nolan. How you doing, Evan?
I am not in a tie just for you.
I appreciate that. Yes, Evan's been recording some things in a tie, and he said I joked with him like, do I have to wear ties for these things now? Like, you have ties. I want to tell you here for the record, I have many, many, many ties. I used to be in sales. I used to be in marketing. I just don't have to wear them anymore.
I technically don't have to wear them anymore either, but I still do. I just feel like if you ever saw the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where Ed Asner decides to change his will. Do you ever see that episode?
No, I haven't seen that one. I'd remember that.
He goes in to go see the lawyer that is recommended to him by Larry David, and it's Casual Friday. And he walks in and the lawyer's wearing a denim shirt over denim pants. And Ed Asner is annoyed. And I just always think of that scene when it comes to dealing with people, since I deal with people's money all the time.
So he wore a Canadian tuxedo. I love it.
Yeah, 100% Canadian tuxedo. He's like, it's Casual Friday. He's like, I don't care what it is. You just lost my account. So
there you go. Well, we run notinhallofame.com, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, and the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, where on November 1st, we're going to be announcing the first ever United States Athletic Hall of Fame class. Evan has done a great job uploading, and we're doing that on our official YouTube site. Just little quick bios and really what the whole process is about. I encourage you all to check that out. And if you haven't voted, please vote. I mean, this is all up to you guys. Right before we went on, we were arguing about democracy and whether it's dead or not in said country. Whether I'm right, Evan's right, doesn't really matter. You might be right, you may be wrong, but it may just be a lunatic you're looking for. That's not the words, is it?
The lunatic is in your head, my friend.
Yes, lunatic fringe, I know you're out there, but you can vote on this. This is pure democracy and it's pure transparency. www.notinhalloffame.com/USA. And it's a pretty simple idea. Who is the greatest American athlete really ever? And how come nobody ever came up with this?
Well, that second part is, I don't know. I think it's legitimately, I have still amazed that we are somehow the first people to try this. And the first one, who's the greatest athlete ever? Well, that's up to you guys. As I said in my, and I had like a 16-minute primer where I was wearing also not a suit. I think I recorded on Tuesday night or Wednesday night or whatever, posted it. But we have, I think it was Wednesday night, and then we posted it. I did Facebook Live, or not Facebook Live, YouTube Live, because I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't feel like editing anything. But yeah, so there's 130 videos coming. I've posted the first 5. The 6th one is going to come out basically right after we're done recording this. It comes out 1:30 Central Time today. So that is going to be Nolan Ryan.
Cool.
Those of you scoring at home.
And you laid out the big bucks for your social media manager too.
I did. Yeah, she is very, very involved. My daughter is deciding what she's giving me constant updates as to how many people have watched each of the videos and the total number of views, and she's impressed somehow that I've had like 100 views in 3 days or something between all the videos. So yeah, so up we already have who is it? Edwin Moses. We have George Blanda. We have I put it, Mary Lou Retton was the last one up. Oscar Robertson, Nolan Ryan's going up, and Kathy Whitworth is up already. So there's going to be 130. I've recorded 20 of them. So there's enough to go for a little bit, but I just keep recording 5 a day and going to post 2 a day during the week and probably 3 a day on the weekends is the plan.
Well, you're, as much as your daughter is an excellent decider.
Yeah.
Evan's going to.
I don't know how excited I am for this announcement, but continue.
Why not?
Just go ahead. Okay.
All right. Kids, have you ever heard of a Deadpool? It's kind of morbid as it sounds. And basically what that is in a calendar year or whatever predetermined thing of length of time, you pick people you think might die. Well, that's too morbid for us.
It was also a fairly mediocre Dirty Harry movie, although he did get an opportunity to work with an Asian American detective, which was good for the San Francisco Police Department, which was a line in that movie.
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good for the department. Also, it featured Jim Carrey as Johnny Squares.
It
Who, if
did.
you
And it
vote
also
for him,
had one of my favorite assassinations of all time. They strapped a bomb to an RC car and drove it under somebody's car was driving and blew it up. Some newscaster guy. So
he did marry the woman from that film, or shacked up with, I believe.
I know it's been a while since I've seen that one. I just remember like thinking as I don't know, first time I saw him, I spent like 13 or 14, thinking like that's just a comment about how it's good for the San Francisco Police Department is working with the Asian American community. And I was like, this is a very strange line in the middle of this film.
Well, Dirty Harry didn't like anybody.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. So anyway, continue.
I don't know how we,
I'm trying to stall this announcement. So go ahead, just go for it.
What's wrong with this announcement?
Keep going.
Okay, we're not doing a Deadpool. We're doing the first annual Lizzo nominated cancel pool. Yay! So here's what it is. We are gonna pick. I'm getting all the co-hosts involved, and we are going to draft people who we think might get canceled. Evan is the official decider, because Evan doesn't want to necessarily pick people to get canceled. I don't know why. This seems like a lot of fun.
I'm really not that interested, but I can determine, I suppose, if someone has been canceled.
You will determine if someone's been canceled. Also, you will determine the score, because each one will be valued from 1 to 10, 10 being somebody like, let's say Lizzo. I didn't see this coming. Did you?
No, not at all.
So she's essential. And the official rule for being canceled is it costing you work?
Okay.
Pretty much. Did it cost you gigs? And right now it's cost her 2 that we know of. One where she was going to headline a festival in Philadelphia. She's now taken out of Super Bowl consideration for the halftime show. So pretty big. I don't know how she recovers from this. It actually amazes me how few people really even knew about this. I was trying to get the young perspective on this as I went to the local bar, where they gave me this great stuffy for Jasper. So I asked the bartender, who's 24, like, so I'm going to be talking about this. What's your take on Lizzo being canceled? Huh? What do you mean? What'd she do? So,
yeah.
I mean, but there's just so many ways that we can learn things. So we don't all learn the same thing from Walter Cronkite like we used to. Actually, I never watched Walter Cronkite. What the hell? I'm dating myself incorrectly at that. But anyway,
you're more an Edward R. Murrow guy, right?
I might be. I very well might be. Yes, actually, for us it was Peter Mansbridge, I believe. No, he's still the. I don't even know. I don't have.
We did have Mr. Jennings from Canada here for a while.
Waylon Jennings is from Canada?
Not Waylon Jennings. I can't think of his first name right now, the newscaster. Peter Jennings, thank you. I couldn't think of his first name. So
I have a case of the sillies today. But Evan will decide whether one person is worth 10 points or lower. So 10 is obviously somebody, I guess, like Lizzo. I didn't know that. So it might be somebody like let's see.
One would be someone like Charlie Daniels.
That'd be a good, yeah.
Who I know has passed away, but when you heard was like a whole racist rant and stuff, you're like, okay, sure, that'd have been a 1.
More or less, something like that. Charlie Sheen, but I don't think he works, so that doesn't really. Like, does he do anything?
I mean, he was on 2.5 Men, and that's the last thing I think he did, right?
So I mean, like, you can't get canceled either for this if you don't actually have anything to be canceled from.
That's also true.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's not losing any work. So
James Woods and Scott Baio are not being canceled, and Kevin Sorbo.
Yes, those 3. Having said that, I mean, like, what do you do with somebody like Ted Nugent, who's doing his farewell tour?
He's on the low side.
Right, so. But I mean,
I don't know. We'll worry about this. You've now put way too much pressure on me, but I'll do the best I can.
And it's Evan the decider. MCU thing all over it. You're either going to be fighting or helping the beige mistress. I don't know.
Beige Mistress is busy this week.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
Well,
We don't have very many things to talk about. Beige Mistress had 3 victims.
well, geez.
So,
Well,
yeah.
we do have one big thing that we're going to go into right now. The
Yes.
Pro Football Hall of Fame has announced their coach/contributor finalist, and it's a very good one. It's Buddy Parker. I think you and I are both very, very happy about that. I incorrectly, for the second year in a row, predicted Robert Kraft, but
I mean, I also thought it was Robert Kraft. We had this discussion on I think it was just Twitter in general, or X or whatever it's called before it collapses in 3 weeks.
it collapsed.
But,
I hope not. This is where
I know, but it's, I mean, we'll see what happens. But Parker was my second most likely person to get in out of this group. I thought that, and I've said that from the beginning when they announced all the nominees.
Yeah.
I thought it was Kraft's year because they had put in a coach last year. That was honestly my thought process. They put in a coach last year in Don Coryell. They're going to put in someone alive this year. Someone alive, someone's an owner, will go in this year, and they'll put in Parker next year. Parker came in second. I'm not upset. They're going to have to put Kraft in before he dies. I mean, the dude's 82. So at some point, you want him. Yeah, he turned 82 in June. So at some point, he's got to go in. We don't want a Pat Bowlen situation where you're putting him in as he's. I mean, Pat Bowlen's the only person who's been elected and then died before they got to give the speech in the history of the Pro Football Hall.
Well, and he wouldn't have been able to give a speech anyway.
He would have been able to give a speech anyway, right? But we don't want to be in a situation where we're in there anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's like
so,
Chuck Howley, right? Did he understand
exactly right.
that he got in?
Yeah, I mean, he did sort of understand because I saw the video of him being told by Roger Staubach. He's like, his face lit up. Is like, oh, that's great, but how much he's going to remember the next day, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Kraft has got to be the next owner in. I know Adam Schefter went on a hissy fit about Shanahan, the coach of the Broncos. I understand that. Shanahan is like 4th on my list of available coaches. So, I mean, he's ahead of Cowher, but Cowher shouldn't have been in, right? Cowher's further down the list for me.
For me too. And I don't even have a problem with Bill Cowher getting in. And like I said then, I'll say now. If David Baker didn't want to be on TV, Bill Cowher is not in the Pro
and then Fanek is in a year earlier. So we've been through this bunch of times. But I think Holmgren's a better candidate than Shanahan is.
I'd agree.
I thought Parker was a better candidate than Shanahan is. I'll hear the Clark Shaughnessy argument ahead of Shanahan as well. So I know a lot of people, Broncos fans, like, oh, look, it's another Steeler. Yes, I know that Buddy Parker coaches Steelers. He's a Lion. I'm sorry. He was the Lions coach when they won championships, right? It's like saying that Bill Belichick's a Browns coach. Like, I know he coached the Browns. That's not why he's getting in the Hall of Fame. But Buddy Parker has, for a while, been one of the overlooked coaches in the system. And he and Coryell, Coryell was, I think, one of the biggest. Coryell and Tom Flores, who got in, 3 years ago now, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But so they're rectifying it. I have absolutely no problem with it. Buddy Parker is incredibly deserving of being in the Hall of Fame by any measurement that you have. I thought, like I said, at this point, he was the best coach not in. And now he's going to get in. They're going to elect him. So at this point now, I'll be willing to hear the arguments for the more recent coaches. You want to talk about Tom Coughlin, who I also probably have ahead of Shanahan, by the way. You want to talk about Tom Coughlin, you want to talk Shanahan, Holmgren, any of those guys, Schottenheimer. I'm willing to have the discussion, but Parker had to be in first.
Yeah, and I guess we should also mention this is not a lock. He's named as the finalist.
It's not. If they don't elect him, they should stop the whole system, throw everybody out, and start over.
Incidentally, that's also a good plug for what we also are doing.
It's also true. We've sort of done that.
Yes, yes. We are also doing the Pro Football Hall of Fame Revisited. Later today, well, this will go up after this goes. We'll be announcing the second class, the class of 1947. I put in air quotes here because we are looking at the Pro Football Hall of Fame as if it began in 1946 as opposed to 1963.
Yeah, and we picked 46 because it's 25 years from the founding of the league, and that, which is our thing for any team. If you're going to have a Hall of Fame or any league or anything, if you're going to have a Hall of Fame, you have to have 25 years of existence before you can do it.
And do you know who must be listening to us?
The Colorado Rockies?
The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Arizona Diamondbacks. I knew it was one of those Western baseball teams.
You're close, yes.
It was Louis Gonzalez and Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson have been named the first two members of their Hall of Fame, the franchise Hall of Fame.
It's really hard to argue those two as their first two, like anyone else.
Somewhere Kurt Schilling's upset, but
yeah, I mean Kurt Schilling, Matt Williams, I don't even know. I guess so. A lot of the other guys are still playing.
Yeah, it'll be sort of tough going forward. I mean, maybe I don't even know who owns the Diamondbacks.
I actually don't know that off the top of my head either.
All right, so maybe they go that route. I mean, who built that team to win the World Series in 3 years after existence? That should be worth something.
That's a good point.
Because it's going to be a while before you really have any worthwhile, like beyond that. I mean, Schilling, I guess, would be next.
Yeah, I'd say Schilling
that'll be
and
fun.
Matt Williams. And I don't even know at that point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so congratulations to the Diamondbacks for doing this right and listening to us. I think somewhere they're listening to us and what we say. It's got to be right.
Yeah. Just by the way, they're making the announcement. Going back to pro football here, they're making an announcement on the 3 finalists from the seniors this next week. Correct?
Right, which is why we're also going live. We're going to go live on Monday. And Evan's not gonna be the decider, but Evan's gonna be the moderator because when I'm a moderator, things don't go well.
I'm kid 4 out of 5. I have no trouble getting people to shut up and make sure we have everybody get their say in. So
there you go. You're very, very good at that. I, however, am not. I usually want to get in bad jokes, but I'm good at that.
Yeah, there you go. So we're expecting from all the tea leaves we're seeing. It looks like Gradishar's year is finally coming up. I was reading stuff from Clark Judge earlier today and a few other people. It looks to me like Gradishar. I'm not as sure on the other two, but I'd be very shocked if Randy Gradishar is not one of the 3.
I would be too, but I was shocked last year.
I know.
I don't know. That will actually affect, believe it or not, my recording schedule because our next one for the football show is Super Bowl 12, and I'm hoping to have Ron Katz on for that, who is a former Denver Broncos fan of the year, and just he's spearheading and works tirelessly. Is that a word? That's a
tirelessly. You just need an extra D.
Maybe in Canada we add D's.
It's D is a new U. So continue.
There you go. So we're hoping to have him because Super Bowl 12, the Broncos' first appearance in the Super Bowl. He may not be up for it if Gradishar does not get in. We'll have to postpone it, which I totally understand.
I get it. But yeah, just by the way, Randy Gradishar is a Hall of Famer. And let me go back to Schefter a second. Okay. Sure. Schefter was saying he doesn't get how Ken Riley is now all of a sudden a Hall of Famer after 35 years. Well, Ken Riley's a Hall of Famer after 35 years because they never discussed Ken Riley, you dipshit. They never discussed him in the room before. He's the 4th all-time leading interceptor in the history of the NFL. He's intercepting stuff when people weren't intercepting stuff.
I love that you took on my role.
That's why. Do I think that Ken Riley was the best person out of all those people to go in? Probably not. I'd probably put Ken Anderson ahead of him just on the same team. But is Ken Riley a Hall of Famer? I think Ken Riley is easily a Hall of Famer. But he was never discussed in the room at one point. So how can we, if the system is screwing up that badly, that's why you need a senior committee. That's why we have the senior committee, because people's stupid ass prejudices get in the way. And when we have people, again, I'm going to go Deion Sanders here, who want the small hall. Deion Sanders they were talking about people who should be in the Hall of Fame, but I can't remember who one of them was who came up. It was like Merton Hanks or someone like that.
Merton Hanks.
And it was like, it was like that. No offense to Merton Hanks, who's a very, very good cornerback.
Yeah.
But by no means a Hall of Famer. It was someone on that level. It's like, yeah, that guy's definitely the Hall of Fame. I'm like, that guy's never sniffing the Hall of Fame. How can you have a small hall and have like all your buddies in? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? You put the 5 players in. We have to figure out all the screw ups from the past and get some of these seniors who deserve to be in, who never even had their case heard, and keep moving forward. Like Randy Gradishar not being the Hall of Fame. Again, I never really watched Randy Gradishar play. I've seen the highlights of Randy Gradishar. It's ridiculous Randy Gradishar is not the Hall of Fame. I looked at his accolades. I've watched his stuff now. I've seen him play. Randy Gradishar was the best player on the football field in 97% of the games he played in.
I think also too, they laid, who was it who put this out? Was it Jack? It could have been
all the teams have ever been in the Super Bowl and how many people they have in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and only one team.
The only team that doesn't have any Hall of Famers
is the
Super Broncos.
Denver Broncos.
Yeah, Super Bowl 12 Denver Broncos. Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, nobody, and that's also hammers it to more home, as I've been doing that series, retro football show with Paul Lawrence, and where we look at past games, and we got a few that'll come up soon, and just the amount of Hall of Famers that you see, and just the amount of players that aren't in the Hall that are just so good. I've been sort of amazed in the 2 Super Bowls watching Manny Fernandez, who was never a Pro Bowler. You know, that is one of my most fun processes. Unfortunately, one thing that I was hoping I'd get you on, I can't find it. Man versus Beast. I've been looking everywhere.
It's too bad. We'll see if we can find. Yeah, we'll see. Somebody has to have it somewhere. If you guys have a recording of Man versus Beast from 2001 from the
2003.
Was it 2003?
2003, because I was looking it up, and because I wanted to, I couldn't find it, and so then I thought, okay, well, maybe if I just find out what year it is.
I swear I watched it in my dorms. I mean, I wasn't in college in 2000.
I just knew it existed. I when I was looking at the clips, just watching, like, wait a minute, there's like they've got 44 dwarfs pulling a plane. This is great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, who's stronger, 44 little people or an elephant at pulling an airplane?
You think I'm not politically correct usually? Holy crap! If we would have done that.
Yeah, again, everyone who's listened to this has heard me say this at least a dozen times. One of my favorite clips of all time is a sprinter going against a zebra, and they have Carl Lewis as the color commentator for this, and they're doing the keys to the race. And they have the graphic up, and they're doing it one at a time as he says it. He goes, the keys to the race, the human, whoever this human was. No, the human was nobody real famous. And the zebra was keys to the race. Zebra's got to get off to a good start. He's got to run hard and fast, and he's got to realize he's in a race.
Apparently, one of the things they had too was the famous eater Kobayashi, who lost a hot dog eating or something to a gorilla or something. And then they had one thing where the animal did not know it was in a contest. Like, how do they have any concept? They're animals. They don't understand these things.
Oh, this is for TV? I'll do better now.
Exactly. Wait a minute. What's my per diem? Nothing? Well, fuck off. I'm going to slack off.
Your per diem is the hot dogs you're about to eat. Come on.
Now, what about the elephant?
Yeah, the elephant. Yeah, the elephant works for peanuts.
Well done. Well done. Okay, this isn't the best segue to go into people who died, but there really isn't a good one.
Yeah.
So we should mention, like, if you're wondering earlier, like when I've given Evan this title of a MCU hero who was going to be either helping or hurting the Beige Mistress. Who is the Beige Mistress?
Well, first of all, I'm in the MCU. I'm a true neutral, so I'm like just right in the middle. I don't care one way or another. So I guess that makes me a Silver Surfer, right? Is that right? I don't know. He destroyed planets, but he didn't really seem to care about much. I don't know how this works. I've never read any comic books as a kid, and I haven't seen most of the MCU. I've seen Iron Man, I've seen Iron Man 2, and I've seen Ant-Man, and that's it. I haven't seen any of the movies.
Oh wow.
It seems like a commitment. When my son's older, we'll probably do it together because my daughter doesn't care. But it's too much. I watched the original Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire, but then they changed Spider-Man and then they changed him again.
Well,
so I'm not sure.
But in the last Spider-Man, he's actually back.
Oh yeah, well I guess that's true. And I did see, and Peter Parker, or no, Spider-Man Cross Multiverse is a fantastic movie. I did enjoy that with the kids. So anyway, we're way off track. So people who passed away, the Beige Mistress. So the Beige Mistress is a creation of our first season, because this is season 4, which is scary. But on our first season, when we started doing this, I just originally noticed that for whatever reason back in 2020, we had a lot of Hungarian athletes who were dying all at the same time. And so we decided that there was a serial killer in Hungary known only to us, because we're the only ones following the strings across the bulletin board there. But she has been quiet for a while, but she was very busy this week. So we have 3 people here. We have Sandor Ekschmidt, Ekschmidt, ECKSHMIEDT, Ekschmidt, I'll go with, who was a Olympian for Hungary in the hammer throw at the 64, 68, and 72 Olympics. He passed away at the age of 84. Some may say that's old age. I say it's a serial killer that we haven't gotten yet. Laszlo Zarandi, a Hungarian athlete who was a 100-meter runner. He got bronze in the Olympics in the 4x100. He won the 50. That was 1952 in Helsinki. 54 European Championships. They won the gold. Again, he was born in 1929. You might say a 94-year-old passing away is old age. I say it's a serial killer. And by the way, he was born in the city of, it's Kiske UNFE with an accent, LegYHA with an accent, ZA, which I'm going to say is Kiskunfelagahaza. And I apologize to all the people from that city if I've mispronounced it. Although it may be the first time it's ever been said in North America in the history of the city.
Could be possible.
And finally, Gabriela Kotsis, the Hungarian indoor volleyball coach, who's the only one of 2 women elite volleyball coaches lead teams in multiple Olympics. 1976 in Montreal, 80 in Moscow, member of the Volleyball Hall of Fame. She passed away at the age of 95.
Not of natural causes.
Yeah, totally not natural causes. Yeah, I think this is just an angel of mercy going around all the homes, and taking her out this week. So for football, we lost 3 folks this week, starting with Gary Barnes, member of the 62 Packers that won the NFL championship, wide receiver with the Packers, Cowboys, Bears, Eagles, and Falcons, from 62 to 67. He passed away at the age of 83. He was also a 2-time All-ACC in 59 and 60. We also lost Sean Dawkins, the wide receiver, who was with the Colts, Saints for 1 season back in 98, Seahawks, Jaguars, and was on the offseason with the Vikings. All-American at Cal, coming out, played 140 career games, 445 receptions, 25 touchdowns. Passed away suddenly at the age of 52. So do you remember Sean Dawkins?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm sure I've seen him. I'm sure I saw him play before, but it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. Also passed away running back Alex Collins, played for the Arkansas Razorbacks at college and played for the Seahawks, Ravens, and against the Memphis Showboats earlier this year. But he died in a car crash at the age of 28.
Way too young.
Yep. Second in all-time Arkansas career rushing list with 3,703.
Wow.
Who's number one?
I don't know.
Darren McFadden, 49,590.
Didn't even remember that he played there.
Oh, okay. Well, no more trivia questions for you.
I'll do better next time. I didn't know there was a test, Coach.
From hockey, we lost a couple of folks. Starting with Bobby Bond, at age 86, played for the Maple Leafs, Oakland Seals, Detroit Red Wings, 17 years as a professional hockey player.
Won a couple cups, I think, with the Leafs, if I remember correctly.
I believe he did. Yeah, he won with them in definitely won. He was on the 60.
He was on the 67 team, I believe.
No, he wasn't on 67 because he was
on 67.
the Seals in the expansion draft.
Yeah, but no, 67 though. The expansion draft took place after.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. That's right. He was on 67 team. I take that back. Okay. You're right.
Redemption.
Yeah, he's probably best known, honestly, for the 64 Stanley Cup. He broke his ankle during Game 6, returned for overtime, and scored the game-winning goal to tie the series. It's 3-3, and the Leafs won the next game 4-0 to get their third consecutive championship. So it looks like he won 4.
I wonder how many players are left still alive from the 67 team.
I know we could look that up, but he had 62, 63, 64, 67. So
imagine that you win the Stanley Cup and okay, you're going to Oakland.
Let me see. I'll take a quick look at the 67 Leafs. Funny thing is the 67 Leafs finished in 3rd place.
It's hard enough finding people who were even remember watching the 67 Leafs, let alone people who might have been playing for them.
God, let's look at this list. Tim Horton, I know, is gone. But is Terry Sawchuk still alive, isn't he?
Don't know.
And no, he died in 1970 at the age of 40, so I'm off by a little bit.
There might be one I haven't heard from him lately.
Yeah. So anyway, Bond was 85. Also passed away. This is near and dear to again, probably one of the 11 greatest franchises never to win a title, which is going to be one of these things that come up with here shortly. Rick Jeanneret, the announcer for the Buffalo Sabres, one of the most beloved voices in hockey. Led to a whole discussion on Twitter this week as to what voice do you associate with hockey, which was kind of great. People posted clips and stuff. But he was the Sabres. He was at the Sabres Hockey Network for 51 years. He was there from 63 to 2022 as an announcer. But he passed away at the age of 81. He announced them every year from 71, 72 through 2021, 22.
Yeah. A lot of memories with that because we didn't like growing up in the Toronto area. I mean, if you have your hockey night in Canada and you'd get the occasional Sabres game from WUTV in Buffalo. So I remember a lot of his calls.
Yeah. He's also on an honorary inductee to the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame.
Really?
Based on the way he called blow-by-blow on in-game fights during hockey games. So as an honorary member, which I think was hilarious.
That's great.
It was the closest modern equivalent to bare knuckle boxing there was, and they elected him to the Hall of Fame as an honorary member, which is kind of cool.
Is Philo Beto in that?
I have no idea. I just saw it on there. I thought it was fantastic.
Okay. Second time we referenced the great Clint Eastwood.
That is true. Yeah. So member of the Sabres Hall of Fame, the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame, the Buffalo Broadcasting Hall of Fame, and he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame under the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award for the Announcers Wing back in 2012.
That's good.
Big sads for Sabres fans. He passed away at the age of 81.
Yeah, sadly too. He never got to see his beloved team win a cup.
Foot in the crease, my friend. The foot in the crease.
Glenn, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, and just think, if that foot's not in the crease, we only have one member of the Hall of Fame from that Dallas Stars team, as opposed to all of them in the Hall of Fame from that Dallas Stars team.
You might be right.
I mean, it's a crazy number of 1998 Dallas Stars in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Everybody else we lost is from music.
Crazier number of 99 stars too.
That's also true. A crazy. Everyone else we lost is from music this week. So we'll start with Bobby Eli, who is a musician, arranger, record producer, and composer. More than anything, he also recorded or arranged music for. You ready for this list?
I'm ready.
Teddy Pendergrass, the Jacksons, Chris Brown, David Bowie, Jay-Z, Hall & Oates, Patti LaBelle, Elton John, B.B. King, Wilson Pickett, George Clinton, the Spinners, the Temptations, the Stylistics, the Tramps, Curtis Mayfield, the Sapphires, and Shaggy.
But other than that,
nobody has any idea what he was. He also arranged and performed with Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, with the Delphonics, Engelbert Humperdinck, Sister Sledge, Rolls Royce, Denise Williams, Atlantic Star, Isaac Hayes, like just one of those people again in the background where all the stuff you've heard, you just had no idea who did it. Bobby Eli was one of those people. Mm-hmm. He passed away at the age of 77. Also passing away, you want an interesting niche group of music. Okay. Walter Aipolani, known as Brother Walter, a Hawaiian musician, jokingly called a Hawaiian because he's the one who created Hawaiian reggae music, the father of Hawaiian reggae. I
did not know there was such a thing.
I did not either. I recommend you look it up. It's fantastic.
The godfather of Hawaiian reggae. All right, let's do. I'm down.
Yeah, he passed away at the age of 68.
Tell me it involves ukuleles. Please tell me it involves ukuleles.
Oh, of course, ukuleles.
All right.
Yeah, it's like reggae is already ultimate island music. Mm-hmm. Now do reggae with ukuleles.
I can't even fathom it.
Could you be even more? That's like the only way to be more laid back. So, but I had no idea it existed before I looked up Brother Walter, and I enjoyed it very much for the about 10 minutes I was looking at it earlier this week.
Okay.
So, also passing away, Gary Young, the original drummer for Pavement. Oh. Passed away at the age of 70. He was there from 1989 until he decided to leave in 1993. He originally started with playing songs with drumming with the Dead Kennedys, the Circle Jerks, the Black Flag on tours and stuff along those lines. Then ended up with Stephen Malcolm and Scott Kannenberg with Pavement. But he had some conflicts with Malcolmus and decided to leave. Well, they decided he should leave. Put it that way. He was fired from the band. He did play with them 2 more shows back in 2010, but he passed away at the age of 70. So, we also lost. Do you remember Melvin Magoo Barcliff from Timbaland and Magoo?
Oh, well, okay.
No,
not real. Well, no.
Okay, so this is Timbaland's original rap partner.
Okay.
Melvin Magoo passed away at the age of 50. I don't know from what, but they were together. They performed together from 89 through 2004. And he was, I mean, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate albums that they did together back in the day. But he passed away again at the age of 50. He was born in 1973, July of 73. So she's way too young.
Yeah.
Last 2 we have are music executives. So first one to talk about is Jerry Moss, the M of AMN Records, passed away at the age of 88. Moss and Herb Alpert were the founders. They were both elected in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2006. But they were, started his music career by promoting 16 Candles for the Cress back in 1958. They had all sorts of organizations. He was also very involved in horse racing and was a member of the Southern California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. So there you go. He passed away at the age of 88. And finally, I think the biggest thing we lost this week was Clarence Avant, the Black Godfather. Manager of Little Willie John, Sarah Vaughan, Kim Western, Luis Bonfa, Tom Wilson, Creed Taylor, Jimmy Smith, like all sorts of folks along those lines.
Recent Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, if I remember correctly.
Fairly recent, I believe. Yeah. Venture Records. That's what they did. When was he elected? Hold on, I gotta figure that out. 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. And his speech had Bill Withers, Kamala Harris, and Barack Obama talking about his stuff. He won the Ahmet Ertegun Award in 2021.
Did Kamala cackle when she did it?
I know that's one of your favorite things. I can't necessarily remember it off the top of my head. But he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It was named a Grammy icon, and just one of the big important developers of African American music in the country. One of the people who was the backbone of it. But he passed away at the age of 92. That's everybody I got this week.
Okay. I guess I got the hammer because usually we close with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And Evan's just in such a great mood. He didn't want to trash anybody today.
Yeah, I don't want to trash anybody, and I want to talk about what we're doing with the hall a little bit more. So I'd rather spend my time on that at the end.
Sure.
So
all right. So now it's elevator up, elevator down, and
elevator up, elevator down.
So that's where I look at someone in the past week whose Hall of Fame chances has taken either a tumble or a turn for the better. Well, I guess I could say that maybe it's both, because I think now he might have a shot at the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame, because I guess that's where he's going. And that's Wander Franco. If you haven't heard, and if you're listening to the show, you probably have. Wander is 22 and he likes things that are much younger than him.
that is true.
It's alleged, not proven yet, but it's looking pretty bad that he had a dalliance with maybe more than one underage girl. Now, did you see a picture of this girl, Evan?
I can honestly say I have not.
I have. Now, you can claim that she told me she was 18. Okay. She does not look 18. Look, I don't even know how. First off, if you're 22 and you're into a 14-year-old girl, I don't know what you're fucking thinking. But if you are, again, maybe don't take pictures of it. There's a thought. Don't do it multiple times. Pay a fucking hooker to dress up like a kid. I don't fucking know. Don't do this. You colossal fucking moron.
But how do you really feel?
I don't know. You set the bar for anger when you were talking about Ken Riley and the snub. So
when I called Adam Schefter a dipshit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, Adam Schefter, for as involved as he is in football, not knowing what the history of the Football Hall of Fame is, makes him a dipshit. I mean, that's actively not having any idea as to what's going on as one of the voices of your industry.
Is it wrong that I kind of enjoy watching you get angry? This is usually my job. I'm the animator.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was just so annoying. It's annoying because all these people are like, I want a small hall, but don't go to this person. And you're like, that person's like the 17th best cornerback. I know they're your friend, but whatever. So continue.
Franco's not going to come back. It doesn't look like. Apparently, from the person who broke that in the Dominican Republic has found another person. So I imagine I don't know how you play again in either country. I really don't. This guy, what a total tool. This could cost Tampa the World Series. Tampa's a very, very good team. Wander was their second best player, I think, behind or I never pronounce his name right. Randy Rosarina. I know I'm pronouncing that.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. What goes through your head in any of this? You're 20 fucking 2. It's not like you didn't grow up with social media your entire life for the most part. Like, you don't know what can possibly happen. Do you not have a teammate that could say, hey, maybe don't do this? Because if he's that stupid to do it, he's just as stupid to tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about this is good. I guess Japan will take him because they don't seem to care.
I'm not going to put that out there. I have absolutely no idea. Probably.
Like, it's a moron. Like at 22, I guess his whole contract is going to be voided, I imagine, by next year. Because if MLB suspends him for life, which could happen. I mean, I don't know. There's no precedent for this, is there? I mean, we've heard of stories, but nothing where anyone's ever been suspended for kitty diddling.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because Tampa can't bring him back. I don't think they want to. They don't want to pay him the 180 million that's owed. Because he signed something, he signed a large extension already. So he's due to make $180 million over the next 10 years, I believe. Not anymore, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of clause out on that, I'd imagine.
And the day he got pulled was the day it was Wander Franco hat night or something like that. Free to kids 14 or under. You can't write this shit.
Mm.
There's nothing more to say really on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just blown away by the idiocy of some people.
Mm-hmm.
And the absolute disgust. Like, what do you see in a child that you can possibly? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything really to add. So
There's nothing we can add.
yeah.
Just like
I will say, did you see? Just because it was just on Twitter a second ago, Jimmy Graham was brought into police custody last night because he had a seizure, apparently, and was brought to the hospital. So, question for you: is Jimmy Graham going to be a Hall of Famer at any point? Do you think?
no.
I don't think so either, which is interesting.
Yeah, the way that tight ends have evolved. I mean, what Jimmy Graham did, and I was a Saints guy. I certainly watched a lot of his greatness. Saying that, does he measure up to what we're seeing right now, or what we just saw with Gronkowski? What we're seeing right now with Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I feel like Kelsey is the evolution of Graham. In that Gronkowski's still sort of an old school tight end who did a whole bunch of blocking. I'm sorry, Travis Kelce can't block. And Jimmy Graham didn't block really either. Jimmy Graham was a wide receiver playing a tight end position, but he was more on releases than anything else. He wasn't in on blocking downs or on running downs that often.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's how I feel about Kelce too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not turning down Travis Kelce when he wants to play for my football team. But I'm just more, again, I'm a Patriots fan, so take this as it will. I'm more Gronkowski guy just because I know I can leave him in every down, basically, because he's going to block, he's going to do stuff along those lines. But it used to be Gronkowski or Graham. And then Graham went to Seattle and kind of fell off a little bit, and then Kelce came up, and then it was Gronkowski or Kelce. Now Gronkowski has retired for now. He's not that old. He could always come back. And it's just Kelce at this point. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Kelce's existence kills Graham.
I do too. And we're seeing like a more. I mean, George Kittle could be the next.
Yeah, if George Kittle stays healthy,
yeah,
like he's going to be there. I mean, I think we're going to have a first ballot tight end Hall of Famer next year with Antonio Gates. I think so. Gates is going to get first ballot next year. I feel most comfortable about him. Who's the other one who's up? Who I think has a pretty good shot? I don't think Witten's the first ballot there. There's somebody else who's up. I thought had a pretty good shot, but Gates is number one.
Well, in the next 5 years, it'll be Gates, Witten, and Gronkowski.
Yeah, well, Gates is definitely
15 years.
Witten should get in. I just know if Witten's a Cowboy. So he'll probably get in first ballot. I mean, and again, he's also way up in the scoring.
I mean, we really only have Gonzalez and Sharp who have gotten in the last 15 years.
Probably.
I think so.
Ben Coates is the only other one I've even heard discussed, really. So
yeah, so that's going to change. But no, Jimmy Graham to me, I say this is a Saints guy, not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, just by same thing. If anyone asks me if Julian Edelman's a Hall of Famer, the answer is no, he's not.
Yeah.
I'm a Patriots fan. Julian Edelman's not a Hall of Famer. He's fourth, maybe fifth on Patriots wide receivers for the Hall of Fame list. Just Patriots wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Gino Cappelletti, Stanley Morgan, Wes Welker, and I would even put Troy Brown ahead of him in terms of like longevity, everything else. Troy Brown has interceptions in his career. And
maybe someone should create a playoff Hall of Fame.
yeah. What we need is more to do with this, really. Someone just give us a whole bunch of money so we can do whatever we want and do this full time. Thank you very much.
There you go. I mean, like, I don't see why that couldn't. I mean, well, they're going to say you don't need it. You've already hired a press assist. You know, you got your assistant. You've got your marketing manager. Look what I had to do too.
She costs a lot of money. She does cost quite a bit of money. She's out right now with my wife shopping for back to school clothes because that happens on Monday.
Look what I had to hire.
There you go. You said that. Yeah, I was gonna say. You said that you wish you could hire one, but your dogs were stupid. I said I quit and I didn't actually respond. That you just have created a hostile work environment for them, so they're not.
I'm Lizzo. I make everything toxic. Do I?
There you go. There you go. All right, so let's just go back. You want to talk about the Hall of Fame? And what
Yeah, let's. Yeah, so we're. This is something we created a while ago, but we really want people to really embrace this. Not asking for a whole lot, just vote. This is something that will be decided by all of you. Evan and I didn't come up with this. Well, we came up with the idea on our own, but we had people who helped in the deciding process.
Well, so this came up on our own because again, when I was doing the death marches, we had two people back to back. One who's a member of the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, a member of the Australian Sports Hall of Fame. And you're like, is it American Sports Hall of Fame? And I'm like, I don't know. We went and looked it up, and then there wasn't. And we joked about making it. And it was like probably around April of 2021, I think is when we had that conversation.
Yeah.
We joked about making it for a while. Yeah. And they're like, hey, why don't you jump on the Zoom? We're going to talk about creating a Hall of Fame. I'm like, all right, whatever. Expecting it to be like our usual folks. And then we had like 2 Olympians, a 9-time Pro Bowler, NFL Fan of the Year. I'm like, oh, this is serious, more serious than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And then
Olympians, bronze medalists at that.
Yeah, it's true. Yep. And then we incorporated it. And so that was back in 2021. We had votes for who we had. The idea at that point was to have people who are at least 50. So you had to be born in 1970. So that's what we did at the time. But it took a couple of years to get everything up and running and moving and in a place where we felt comfortable putting the time in that needed to be put into it in order for it to not suck, because we didn't want it to suck. So, and honestly, I've been, I'll be fully transparent on this. I've been a little bit leery about doing the amount of work we had to do and getting everything out there. And I wasn't quite sure, but then when I was like, we just need a deadline. And by the way, I was like, have you make an announcement? I sent that on the wrong list, the wrong email chain or text chain on Twitter. I said, have you made the announcement of a date yet? And you said, no. I said, let's just make it November 1st. November 1st was for 2 reasons. One, it's the end of the year and it's not too crazy and gave us time to do stuff. And 2, it's my dad's birthday. My dad's been gone for a while, and I wasn't going to screw something up that was on my dad's birthday. So that was enough to, I think you did that like last weekend or so. And then I was like, all right, fine. We're just getting it done this week. We're going to go. I started recording a few on Monday, and then I just need the announcement in my orange marshmallow corner here of my house, where I just explained what was going on and we went from there. So I've written a bunch of these things over the months. I've recorded 20. I probably have like 17 or 18 because I've been going back through them and editing that I feel pretty good about to record next week. I'm got to do some more. I'm in the process of writing Emmett Smith at the moment. But more than anything, the point of this Hall of Fame is not to make Kirk and I happy. What I want to say is, like, I love Bill Russell. Will I be very upset if Bill Russell is not the first class? Yes, I will be. I'm sorry. I love Larry Bird. Will I be very upset if Larry Bird's not the first class? Maybe not. because we're at the point where we can only put in 25 people, and we have 130 legitimate people on there. Like Kathy Whitworth, who's the third person I put up there, not a name you think of. She won 98 tournaments in her career, and she finished second 93 more times. She was first or second in a tournament 191 times. The first person I put up, Edwin Moses, didn't lose a race for 9.5 years.
Okay. I knew it was from like, I didn't know it was that long. I knew from 76 to 84. I didn't know that.
Maybe I have my numbers off, but it was legitimately well more than half a decade. He didn't lose a race. Chrissy Everett, who's one of the ones that come out, her very first open major tournament, she was 16. She was the 1971 US Open. She went to the semifinals at US Open and lost to Billie Jean King, who ended up winning the tournament. The next 34 majors, she didn't lose before the semifinals of any of those tournaments. As a 16, 17, whatever, she didn't lose before the semifinals. She lost in the quarterfinals of the 82 or the 83 French. 12 years of this. That's like all the things that these people are doing. Even people like you may not think of right up front. These are all people with legitimate claims on stuff, right? And I don't know who's better. I have an opinion who's better. But the idea here is for not to be us. Every other Hall of Fame's got a cabal in a certain extent of writers who control everything, right?
We do not.
We do not want that.
No.
At all. We have a committee, but that committee is to make sure we put the right names in front of you guys. Once the names are in front of you, it's out of our hands.
Completely.
Right?
And you'll see the exact vote tally.
You'll see the exact vote tally on everything and where they were. And like I said, it's 130 names. In this group, the top 25 are getting in. We'll do 25 this year, next year, the year after, the year after. So we'll get to 100 in 4 classes. And then after that, we'll probably cut it down to like 10, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah, because we got to play catch up.
Yeah, we got to play catch up at the beginning. We're talking about people. Gentleman Jack Johnson was like 1901. Like we're talking 125 years of people at this point, if not more. We got like Abner Doubleday, I think, is one of our contributors, right? He was
because we also have a contributor section and a coach section.
Right.
Actually, I don't think Abner, because it's not conclusive whether he invented baseball or not. So no, he's not.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, at some point he may come up, and that's still the 1860s. So we got a long way to go. So we're going to catch up and go from there. And at future points, we may add. People have asked about adding teams, talking about adding contributors. What?
We might look at broadcasters too. We kicked that around, and we couldn't come up with something that we all agreed on. So we just let it go.
Yeah, there's enough to do at the moment. We do broadcasters. We do contributors. So someone like Wayne Gretzky, who's a Canadian through and through, might be able to go in as a contributor from someone else for all this stuff at some point. But right now, we're just trying to get all this done. And more than anything, we need your votes.
I couldn't have said it better. That's why I didn't say it.
Yeah. So we need your votes. I mean, we'll be perfectly honest. The number we're looking for to make us feel like this is a real first class is have the top people up in the 4 digits of votes, right? Mm-hmm. Like if 1,000 people voted for, I'll just throw Muhammad Ali because I'm pretty sure Muhammad Ali's making it, mm-hmm. right? So if we have like 1,003 people vote for Muhammad Ali, I'll be happy, right? The idea, we know this first year we're going to be growing and growing and growing and growing eventually hopefully this is a really big thing at some point. Mm-hmm. But more than anything, this is the People's Hall. This is
by the people for the people.
Yeah, exactly. And we will still have the one committee to make sure we get the right people on there. If you wanna say, hey, you need to look at this person, I'm more than willing to listen, right? Because I'm sure there's people that we forgot. I jokingly said to my thing, none of us put down Tony Hawk, which is hilarious because that's Tony Hawk's whole shtick now. Is that he goes places like, oh, you have the same name as the skateboarder. I wonder what the guy's doing now when he's like this. Nobody relates to Tony Hawk as Tony Hawk because he just looks like a dad. But I'm sure we'll have that. But going forward, if you want to be involved, let us know. We're looking for more people in different walks of life. I know I've actually talked to a couple of people who are representing the United States in karate. I know quite a few of them at this point, who might get involved, so may have some more martial arts folks in here. Get some people from other places and different walks, because I don't just want to be like, hey, we got a Boston sports fan, we got a Toronto sports fan, we got Toronto and Saints sports fan. We got a guy from LA, we got a guy from Chicago. That's not the purpose here. The purpose is to get as well rounded as we can for that, and then have the people vote.
Yeah, in terms of everything, our committee it's a pretty diverse committee. I'm very proud of it. And I think it's just going to get more so as we go. Funny you bring up martial arts, right? We're going to see a lot more. We only have there's 2 UFC fighters there. Obviously, as time goes on, we're going to see a lot more.
I think we only have one. I don't think we have any male soccer players, and we only have one female soccer player at this point.
Right? Yeah, and that's obviously going to change as
we go along.
Yeah, because let's be blunt, there hasn't been a whole lot of great soccer players in your country or mine, for that matter. And if you're thinking,
certainly not over 50 years old at this point. Landon Donovan's still 47, right? So he's going to be there eventually. I don't know if he's going to get in first ballot, but I figure at some point Landon Donovan will be in. But until then, I mean, how you feel about Claudio Reyna or Tab Ramos or John Harkes or anyone even before that? It depends on you.
Alexi Lawless,
he's over 50. Yeah. He got a couple of votes, I think, in our original thing. He didn't make it.
Yeah, because I think I came up with the original ballot, and I just came up with everyone I could think of, and you could write up. Well, not everyone, obviously, but if they were in an existing Hall of Fame and they met the requirement, and if it just, I mean, I didn't go with everyone like I didn't put Enos Slaughter, for example. Nothing against Enos Slaughter, but just you got to cut that off somewhere.
He's not one of the top 20 baseball players of all time.
No, I mean, my favorite baseball player is not there, and Tony Gwynn.
Gwynn didn't make it.
We didn't vote for him, or not enough of us did.
In
fact, I don't know that I even did.
It's hard. Tony Gwynn's fantastic, but since the major leagues has adopted the Negro League statistics in, right? We only have I think 2. Did Satchel Paige make it? I don't even remember. I haven't gotten there.
Paige is on. Yeah,
so Paige and Gibson are the only 2, right?
Well, the other thing too, and we sort of consider. I remember when one of our Olympians, Chris Huffins, put in his vote. He said, "Okay, if we're not he put in Ty Cobb, and he said but if you were going based on character, then to consider him out." And we have some people with questionable character. We're letting you decide that. Pete Rose is there. Barry Bonds is there. Ty Cobb, Rogers Hornsby. I'm reading a lot more about his.
Rogers Hornsby's already been. I've already recorded Rogers Hornsby. That'll be coming out next week.
Yeah, so a lot of that's going to be up to you to sort of decide that. That's my wife calling, probably telling me she's coming home at some point. Anywho, that's actually a pretty good time to sort of end this. But yeah, we please vote.
www.notanhallofame.com/USA.
Yeah, /USA. Absolutely. So with that, wherever you are, now the dogs are excited. They want you to vote. So do that for us, and we'd really appreciate that. Thanks so much. And wherever you are, wherever you may be,